Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to try and keep this video short and to the point. I have three hat samples that I'm going to show you guys and point out a couple things that you should take into consideration when trying to figure out how to price your hats. But before I do that, I want to explain a couple of other things that you should be thinking about. So one thing that you should look at when you're trying to figure out the price is your competition. So check out your competitors, be realistic about their quality versus your quality, and if it's similar quality, see what they're pricing their hats at and set it somewhere around there. You don't want to price it too far above your competition, your close competitors, that is going to turn your customers away, and you also don't want to price it too low. So that's one thing that you definitely got to think about. Another thing though is the actual, aside from your competitors, is the actual quality of your hat. So that's probably the first thing that you would look at. And like I said, I have three samples I'm going to show you guys. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first one, which is going to be one of my clothing brand L3 Apparel's hats. It's the One Life to Live hat. You got your basic little 3D puff text embroidery on the front, and then on the side right here we have a little L3 logo. So this hat is actually a Yupong snapback. If you're not familiar with Yupong, they're definitely one of the more popular hat brands out there. It's the same company as FlexFit. If I had to guess, it's probably the most popular snapback hat brand, or just hat brand in general. Like I said, FlexFit is the same company, and they make a ton of different hats. So the majority of clothing brands that you see out there, if they don't actually make custom hats and get them produced overseas or whatever, if they don't have their own distribution channel for that, they're likely using Yupong or FlexFit. So that's the first one I'm going to show you, which I would consider more of like a basic hat, and maybe price this one around, I don't know, $20 to $25 is what I would recommend. So the next one I'm going to show you is going to take the customization process a step further, and that's going to be this DGK Snapback, which also has the 3D puff embroidery on the front, and then on the side they have a little DGK logo right here, and on the back they also have a little tag that is sewn in right here. So this one is just a bit more customized than the L3 Apparel hat I just showed you. Another thing that adds to that customization is, if you guys can see the actual inside of the hat, they have their logos, two separate logos that are in the stitching, I guess you call that the stitching. So yeah, that just takes the customization process a little bit further, and because of that, you price the hat a little bit higher than you would the L3 Apparel hat that I just showed you. They're both 20% wool, 80% acrylic, so they're made out of the same thing, but like I said, this one's just a little more customized. If I produced a hat like that for L3 Apparel, it would cost me more than the one I just showed you, and as a result, you'd likely price that a little bit higher. Then the last hat sample I'm going to show you takes the customization process even a little bit further than that. So this is a Hurley Snapback, and like that one, Hurley also put their logo in the stitching right here, or band, or I don't know what that's called, but the cool thing about this hat is the material is 100% waterproof. So obviously, this isn't something that you can just like buy a blank hat and add your embroidery. At least not that I know of. FlexFit or Yupong hasn't come out with a blank hat yet that is 100% waterproof. If they did, it'd probably be quite a bit more expensive than the black hat I just showed you. Which means if you were paying for something like this, for this technology, this material, then obviously you'd be paying a lot more. The actual product would cost you a lot more than just your basic black Yupong snapback that you add your embroidery to, or your logo to. And as a result, just like the DGK one, Hurley also put a little tag right there, and then they got the side embroidery as well, along with their little logo right there. So this, just because of the material, you would add, adjust the price because of that as well. So your price is even high. So you price this one even higher. So I'll pull all three of them back down real quick, and you can see if all three of these were the same clothing brand, like say all three of these were L3 Apparel hats, this one would be priced the lowest, this one would be priced in the middle, and this one would be priced the highest. And that's because of all the things I just pointed out. You're basically wanting to set your price based on, you know, how much the hat is costing you to produce. And then after you take all that stuff into consideration, you know, you want to figure out your margins. Like I said, you got to figure out how much it costs you to produce, how much it costs you to actually get the hat, and then you got to figure out the retail price or the wholesale price that you want to, you know, sell to your distributors, your retail stores, or your customers directly. So, as I was talking about earlier, you also want to take into consideration what your competitors are pricing their hats at, because obviously you don't want to, just because, say you're getting like a, let me pull this one back down real quick. Say your hat's like a lot of clothing brands, some of the smaller ones, most of the time they're just going to embroider, you know, their logo or text or whatever on a blank hat, which most of the time, like I said, is probably going to be U-palm or flex fit. So say they have a hat exactly like this. It has embroidery in 2 locations. You don't want to outprice yourself by pricing this at like $35, and then you have your competitors who are using the exact same blank U-palm hat with, you know, a similar size logo, similar embroidery, and then they're pricing theirs at like $20 or something. So those are basically the 2 main things that you want to take into consideration when pricing your hats. For the most part, I would always shoot between, as long as your hat is at least similar to this quality and you're using like a good quality blank, like a U-palm or flex fit, price your hat between $20 and $30. That's my best recommendation. That's the price you're going to see for most snapbacks. And, you know, I would keep it probably closer to the 20 or 25 range. And, you know, if it's more customized, like say the DGK hat I showed you, then maybe you want to move it up to like $30. Yeah, that's pretty much it as far as pricing for snapbacks goes. I appreciate you guys watching. As always, I'll catch you in the next video. Stay limitless.